For my pre-internship practicum, I completed 2 formal science lessons in the 3rd grade classroom. Throughout this iMovie, I will discuss how my lessons related to the nature of science, how they were age appropriate for 3rd grade, the formative assessments used to assess the students' learning, reactions from both my cooperating teacher and my students, and my personal reflection of the lessons. My first lesson was about rocks and minerals. It addressed the nature of science in several ways. First, I explained that everyone can experience science, and we discussed that rocks and minerals surround us in our daily lives. Second, I explained that theories about rocks and minerals are based on evidence, not faith or logic. My second lesson was about fossils. Throughout this lesson, I expressed the importance in being able to repeat our experiment and it staying the same. We related this to forming actual fossils and how, for the most part, nature is constantly repeating itself when fossils are formed. My first lesson was age appropriate for my 3rd grade students. The majority of my students are in the concrete operational stage according to Piaget. They solve problems that applied to concrete objects like physically manipulating rocks and minerals. In addition to my first lesson, my second lesson was geared towards Piaget's concrete operational stage. I incorporated inductive reasoning by instructing my students to draw inferences from our fossil formations in order to make generalizations about where and how fossils are formed. I use formative facts throughout both of my lessons. For my rocks and minerals lesson, I used fact number 34, look back. I instructed my students to look back to the lesson and share their newfound discoveries. My second lesson was completed as my formative assessment project. I completed an initial and concluding probe, as well as think, pair, share, give me 5, card sorts, what are you doing and why, and 4 corners as my formative assessment facts. My first lesson received great feedback from my cooperating teacher and my students. My cooperating teacher said I did a great job engaging the students in classroom management. My kids loved exploring the rocks and minerals. My second lesson received even better feedback. My cooperating teacher said it was my best lesson of the semester, and my students had a blast creating fossils and learning more about them. In reflection, I feel like teaching both science lessons was an eye-opening experience. For my first lesson, I did not anticipate the excitement for an exploration with actual rocks and minerals. My kids went crazy. Overall, I was really proud of my lesson and how well the students listened. For my second lesson, I wish it could have taken place over several days. It was difficult to explain all the information in just one afternoon. They loved forming fossils though, and I did too. In conclusion, I have learned incorporating science into elementary school classrooms is a balance of give and take. Experiencing their excitement and witnessing their growth has motivated me to push more for an equal balance with science and other subjects.